What the are you doing here, little buddy? Have a rest. Just relax. Take a load off your feet.
Welcome to Antimatters. Hello everyone. Part 3 of the Ant Cave tour today. We've got Fusca, Green Weavers, and the Antcon ants. Let's go. Up now, the mud-dwelling Formica Fusca. They're absolutely loving their soil and have carved out some really nice chambers. I personally think it's fabulous to see this naturalish behaviour. I'm not going to call it natural, but it's a little bit natural. Their nest is a modified large Wakushi Saturn. Get 10% off by using code Antimatters at checkout. The files to 3D print the modifications are in the description as well. Anyway, it's definitely a good fit for the Formica Fusca this. Unlike the other Fusca, they have a little bit of brood as well, these ones. From what I can tell, it's mostly cocoons right now. There's loads of them scattered all around the whole nest though. I'm not sure if they'll be producing any more once these have hatched. If they choose not to, they're at a nice point in the nest where it's all active but not too cramped, so I'm not too worried if they maintain this size. Moving from the soil chambers to the outworld, you can see they've coated the whole floor with a nice even layer of excavated soil. It's truly a pretty good job. It's a real nice feeling to have the ants tidy up though, instead of mess it up. Like pretty much all Formica as well, these ladies love their sugars. They'll rapidly sniff it out and get straight on it. Normally within a few seconds of it entering the setup, it's found. It's funny how they almost seem to be running in fast forward, all erratic and skitty, but the moment their palps hit the sugar, they settle right down and get sucking. This gives me a great opportunity to get a nice close look at them. The only thing you can't see here is the metallic golden sheen they sometimes reflect. Along with their love of sugars, they also have very expandable gasters. It's a match made in heaven. It means when you feed them coloured food like snaps, it really shows up through their gaster and they give a faint vibe of honeypot ants. Currently, my main hope with these is they produce more elates for captive breeding efforts with the other artificial setup colony. From one retrofitted Saturn to another. Here we have the Ocophilus smaragdina, aka the Green Weavers, for sure one of my most photogenic ants. It's been a little while since they had their last update, but it's safe to say they're doing brilliantly. They still have a nice wall of eggs, and there's plenty of pupae and larvae scattered all over the place. They've also woven up the ceiling a little bit more. You can see here that it's a little bit clouded now. I'm not sure how long until they fully weave up the tube, but at this point I think inevitably one day I won't actually be able to see in at all. For now I'm happy with just quick glimpses of the queen though. I've grown to really love this species. Ever since I got them, I've been blown away by just how cool they are. They're full of character and they're really aggressive as well. But when they're being aggressive, they're just like so pipsqueaks that it's kind of funny. Sounds a little bit cruel. It is truly wonderful though to have a big colony, and I'm so happy that I managed to get hold of some. Whilst looking in, I noticed something a little bit odd. One of the ants was trying to pull a cricket, but it wasn't going anywhere. And that's when I noticed that another ant's antennae was stuck inside of the carcass. There's nothing this little ant seemed to be able to do to get it out, as it got quite trapped. And it was also a little bit bent, which I was a bit worried about. The poor girl definitely needed some help. To remedy the situation, I went in with my tweezers and fished her out. With her on my desk, I had a lot better access to the bug and her, and I could get to work trying to figure out what was going on. To start with, I got really close in with the camera, and I noticed that it was stuck inside of one of the chopped off leg holes. I cracked the joint open though, and freed her antennae, and it seemed all in one piece. A little bit crooked at the end, but it seemed fully working and functional still. With that done, the worker actually climbed away back into the setup. It was really nice. While this was going on, the other ants inside of the nest had got to work drinking down some of their sugar. Like the fusca, they also fill up and change colour, and you can also see it in the babies as well. The larvae here have a slight blue tinge to them. That's the blue goo. Every time I look in at these ants, I always check that the queen is still alive, and so far she hasn't let me down. Maria is a bright little trooper. Again, I'm so happy to have this colony, and I'm so thankful that this queen is doing so well. It's not every day you can get hold of such a big, kind of healthy colony. Now that the whole brood system is rolling along nicely, I've also noticed that there's a lot more babies now, and they've started exhibiting some, well, undocumented, I believe, behaviours. But what this little girl is about to do, I believe, is a purposeful effort to remove the waste from the nest. You can see she has some sort of waste coming out of her gaster here, and she picks it up in her mouth, does a little dolphin trick, holds it around, bobs it and stuff, and she manages with her antennae and her feet, I think, to nudge the little ball of waste right onto the tip of her nose. What she then does is deposits the waste on an adult worker's leg. This means that now she doesn't have to leave the nest to get rid of her waste, because she's only a few days old and she's super vulnerable to the elements. As the year rolls on, I'll be sure to keep making regular updates on these, because I'm not sure how long this journey will last, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Should the worst happen though, I want to have some sort of thing left of them, even if it's a video diary. With the Formica and green weavers out the way, we can now get onto the Antcon ants. First up, we have what I thought for, well, since Antcon, was Camponotus maculatus. However, it turns out I was completely wrong. When it came time to pick this colony at Antcon, all I did basically was look at this tube and think, wow, that's a really nice healthy colony with quite a few workers and loads of brood, and decided, yeah, I'll have these Camponotus. I never really looked at what they were. I kind of glanced down at one point and saw, oh, there's a little bit here that says Camponotus maculatus, but yeah, I never really paid much attention. It really wasn't important to me at the time, their name. It was just kind of, wow, this is a really nice looking colony that, well, I think I want these ones. So I got them, but it turns out they're actually Camponotus vicinus. That means they're from the USA. That's probably why they love their sugars so much. I really enjoy watching them fill up. For such a small colony as well, they've got a great appetite. So the nest they currently have is a Wakushi Gen 4 starter module, I think, and that's plugged into a small Gen 4 outworld. Getting Camponotus for me was quite a big deal as well, because for a long time I've suffered from a Camponotus curse. I'm not sure where it came from or how to get rid of it, but basically all the Camponotus ants that I've ever got it's just gone bad. Kind of, yeah, it's just downhill, and yeah, it's just bad. Okay. Try and get rid of some of the curse though, I decided to put my little Antcon lanyard over the top of the nest as a cover, and it fits really well as well. So far it seems to be working, and the queen is definitely still alive. There's quite a bit of activity inside of the nest as well. They seem to have settled into the gypsum area of the nest really nicely too. Looking in, it was a big relief to me to see some fresh eggs in the pile. However, I couldn't see too much because of all the condensation. I may have overwatered it in the beginning. Getting a good glimpse of the queen, she is a beauty. She's quite big. She's, I'd say, about maybe 1.8 centimeters at least. But she's a whopper. I'm quite looking forward to getting some nice footage of these. This species is also polymorphic, so I'll also get some majors. There's no giant cocoons yet though, so I might have to wait a little bit. They will be getting some workers soon though. Fingers crossed though that this queen keeps doing her thing and the whole colony seems not really too stressed, so it's looking good at the minute. From Camponotus vicinus, let's move on to Camponotus cruentatus. These ones are currently in a Antcon Venus from a few Antcons back. This isn't the first time I've kept cruentatus. Last time I got a colony and it was basically one queen and 30 workers. Before I'd even got them, about 10 to 20 workers had died inside of the tube. I put them inside of a nest though and left them be, but came back a few days later and pretty much most of them were dead. A few days after that, I found the queen and the remaining workers all dead as well. I'm not sure what happened, but I think maybe they gassed themselves. I'm hoping to avoid that this time though. So what reasons led me to get cruentatus? Basically, I saw this queen and she was just so phytogastric that I just couldn't resist it. It was like, if I'm going to get any Camponotus queen, like this one here, who is about to explode with eggs, I want that one. I've also seen a lot of them on Ants England's YouTube, and they seem like a wonderful little species. One of the main things I'm also trying to do with Camponotus to kick the curse is just generally trying to think positively and getting a queen that is this chunky and full of eggs and also has a nice pile of brood already going in the tube. It's kind of where it's not too hard to have positive thoughts when you're looking in at a little colony that seems to be about to explode. I've no real idea how hard the cruentatus and vicinus are to keep, however, I'd guess they're kind of the easy to moderate range. I'm hoping they're quite easy anyway because I'm kind of counting on it. But along with these easy Camponotus, I also got another species of Camponotus as well. They're a species that's normally described as really hard to get going. I've seen a lot of colonies over the years come and go without really doing much at all. That species though is Camponotus singularis. They're also living in a Antcon Venus as well. This one's from 2022. Currently they have 5 workers as well. One thing that straight off the bat you'll notice with singularis is, oh my god, they're so huge. Like the queen, she's massive, but her workers, like normal, not major workers, just normal workers, they're way bigger than Lasia's Niger queen. In the aesthetics department though, they are absolutely killing it. The queen has a massive red head and it's also covered in loads of hair. She's got a little bit of the kind of pogo look going on. She also has a Pogonomyrmex style kind of hairy legs. However, instead of brown leg hairs, she seems to have blonde leg hairs. Along with the 5 workers, this colony also came with a lush pile of brood. There's at least 5 cocoons, I think, just about to pop, and loads of larvae, loads of pupae. I'm not sure how many eggs, but I can see at least 1. It wouldn't surprise me though, after the stress of travelling, if the queen may have munched a few of the eggs. I'm not too worried about that at the minute. So I definitely picked these because they look amazing, but also because, well, they don't really look too much like any of the other Camponotus. Like, I don't mind the Camponotus body plan, but a lot of the Camponotus are kind of varying colours and stuff of the same body plan, whereas the singularis, like, they're kind of a different beast. They got the red head, they got the hair, they got massive thoraxes. They got the red heads, they got the hair, they got the size. And to top it all off as well, like the fusca, they have a metallic golden sheen to their gaster. It's a little bit hard to pick it up on the camera, but it's a lot easier than the Formica fusca. In the little time I've had these ants though, I've really enjoyed it so far. And looking in and seeing the colony is still thriving is it's a rush every time you look in. It's kind of like gambling. You poke your head inside of the incubator, take off the lid, and hope that everything's still alive still. One thing I've heard again and again with these girls as well is how timid and shy they are. And this colony certainly lives up to that reputation. So far, the most activity I've seen in the colony is one worker going out and collecting sugar. The queen and most of the workers seem too lazy to even go outside of the tube, or too scared. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank Rich again for this colony, because they were a gift from Antcon. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate them. So that's it for part 3. Keep an eye out for part 4, which should be coming out really soon. Until then, have a fabulous week. Thanks for watching. May your ants live long and prosper, and bye.